that's just too tall for me, and I wanted you to see all of me, okay? So that's why we did that. Thank you, brother-in-law Eric, for that. All right, I was thinking with the fire alarm, my ice cream cone is melting. We need to get up here. Here we go. All right, so I told my sister as soon as I heard that I was asked to speak this year, I am very sorry, but I cannot speak at a sports-themed ladies' conference because I am not a sports fan. And she said, well, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to. So I did. But I was joking with my dad. I said, I'm going to give you a hard time about this theme, okay? I know most ladies are diehard sports fans. I know you are. That's why else would they have the baseball theme, right? They know you. They know you. But I'm not. I'm not an atypical woman. I'm not all into sports. When I go to a sports game, it's because I want to be with my husband and I want to eat their food. That is why I go. How many of you people watch the entire game? You don't even know the game's going on. You're just like, look at her hair. I have that skirt. You people watch. Well, I don't go to a game unless I'm going to eat nachos. I will eat nachos every game. That is my thing. And I love it. But that's not the title of my lesson today, is nachos. But we're close. I live in Long Beach. Long Beach is so horrible. Mrs. Wilkerson had to go to Hammond, beautiful Hammond, Indiana, to get away from it. Now, we love Long Beach. However, we will sit in our living room, enjoy the beautiful California weather, the doors open, windows open, and the beautiful smell of marijuana wafting into our windows at least 4 times a week. We'll have to shut everything up. I'll come out of my room and, honey, what have you been doing while I was in the room? Because it smells like someone's smoking pot in the house. And so we'll have to shut it all up. This goes on and on. Well, we were driving up here to Napa for Thanksgiving late at night, and we got that same smell. And my husband said, how is someone in the middle of, all these trees and things smoking pot at 3 a.m? And I said, honey, I think it's an actual skunk this time. Because it kind of smells like a skunk. You've been living in the city too long when you think all skunks is marijuana, but it's not. We, at our church, we have security guards out during the services because there have been some thefts. For instance, the bushes in front of our church, they have been stolen 3 times. The bushes. In the middle of the night, someone would dig them up and steal them, and then we plant new ones, and then they dig them up and steal them 3 times. 3 times. And one day during the church service, someone came in the parking lot while everyone's at church and stole the back seats of someone's van. The back seat, just the back seats. One morning, our bus drivers went out to start the buses up for our bus routes, and they wouldn't start. And they looked, and inside, wherever the engine is, the battery was gone. The battery, which weighs about 1,000 pounds, all the batteries in the buses had been stolen. Crazy, right? And my mother-in-law and sister-in-law, they'll come out to Long Beach, and they'll look at all the graffiti and things, and they'll say, how could someone live here? And I said, now, you do know we live here, right? We live here. But when you're in God's will, you love it. You love it. And you're not scared. We're not fearful at all. I mean, my husband went to the church one day and he unlocked it and he saw there was a trail of blood all through our church and into the restroom. Someone had been knifed or shivved or whatever they say in Long Beach and trailed it into our church. Weird stuff. Very weird stuff. But, we love Long Beach. It's a joy to serve there. It's wonderful. It really was. It is always exciting in the worst possible way. It is always exciting. One thing, this has nothing to do with anything, but we had the flu after Christmas. How many of you got the flu? This is just a fact. We're not complaining. You got the flu, right? Okay. I felt like in January, I was like, is it the 74th of January today? It was like the month just kept going on, right? Well, we finally got a little better. I went to the grocery store with my daughter Zoe, who's 5. Every good story starts with Zoe. And I went to the store, and I was kneeling down between the cart and the aisle, picking out tuna fish, And Zoe kneels down beside me and says in my ear, Mom, how many lives is a man-child worth? I said, I'm trying to find tuna in water instead of vegetable oil. I can't even answer that question right now. Just random stuff, that makes life exciting. if you would turn in your Bibles, please, to Proverbs chapter 25. Proverbs chapter 25. I'm going to talk to you today about Drippy ice cream days. That's the title of my lesson, Drippy ice cream days, and you'll figure it out in just a second. Proverbs 25 and verse number 28. As you're getting there, we'll go ahead and start in a word of prayer, and then we'll read it. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for the ladies that made it a priority to come to this conference to grow spiritually, to deal with issues, to have great fellowship. I pray that we will be able to leave different and get what we came for this morning. In Jesus' name, amen. Proverbs 25 and verse number 28, very famous verse, says, "He that hath no rule or control over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls." Picture a biblical city. They put walls around the city to protect it. When the walls are broken down, there is chaos. There is danger. There is war. There is fighting. There is insecurity because the walls are broken down and everyone is just acting however they feel like acting. There are no rules. There's no boundaries. The image here is a loss of control. When the walls are down, there is a loss of control. You can't control who comes in, who goes out. When our spirit is down, there is a loss of control. He that hath no rule or no control over his spirit is like that kind of city. When we don't control our spirit, we have the same results. We have chaos. Psalm 26:2 says this, "Examine me, O Lord, and prove me. Try my reins and my heart." Now, David is saying, God, test me. See what I am made of. Put me through it and see if I'm the real deal. Test me. Now, in this verse, it says, try my reins. I would always picture like a horse, giddy up, the horse, right? But that's not what the word reins mean. The word reins in this verse, are you ready? It means kidney. Kidney! It's about your swimming pool. It's a kidney. What? And I thought, kidney? What is this? This can't be right. But what it means is the inward part of me, all the way down to my mind and soul, the seat of my affections. Try the real me and see what I'm made of. Nowadays, we say, my heart. That's what we would say. We would say, well, my heart is going this way. But in the Bible, they would use kidney. In Hebrews, it used the word bowels. And it would mean, the inward part of me. Can you imagine? People say, follow your heart. Follow your bowels. Follow your kidney. Just do whatever your kidney tells you, right? But that's what it means. The verse is asking God, test me on where my heart is and see if I am sensitive to your leading. That's what the verse is saying, to test me. I want you to picture a dog. How many of you have a dog at home, okay? Good. Put your hands down. I don't even want to know who has cats, okay? Picture a dog, and you've got a dog on the leash. When you're training that dog, as soon as it starts to pull you, heel, whatever you say. What do you say, Linda? You heel. Okay. You get that dog under control. Just because the dog jerks on the rein doesn't mean, well, I guess he's just going to have to go wherever he wants to today. Or we certainly don't say, well, he pulled once, I guess he can just run free all day long. That's not what we say. We get that dog back under control and we teach him that it will do what we tell it to do. Just because he wants to go chase a squirrel, does not mean we let him, right? Keep him under control. Now let's compare this because we're talking about controlling your spirit. Our goal is when God tugs at our heart or our bowels to do things the right way, when he tests us to respond the right way. But we all still struggle. We are not a well-trained dog yet. And maybe we'll never will be. We can get better, but we'll never be perfect. But we still struggle. We must keep a tight leash on our spirit. If it gets off track, and it will, we don't let it run wild all day long. We get it back under control. A stressful, grumpy morning should not equal a stressful, grumpy day. We've got to figure out how to rein it back in and recover and still have a good day. Let me tell you this story here, okay? So I took my children. This is Drippy, Charity. This was good. Good illustration. It's nice and drippy. I took my kids to the fair as a field trip, Titus and Zoe. And so we went there, and after the fair, I said, let's stop by McDonald's because McDonald's has the best vanilla ice cream cones. They really do. I don't know what they put in it. It's probably not even ice cream, but they are delicious. So I said, let's go get an ice cream cone. Well, I was going to get a cone because I can drive and eat a cone. You know what I mean? I can lick and drive, right? And so that's what I was going to get. So we went in. Titus got a McFlurry. Zoe got an ice cream cone, and I ordered an ice cream cone. So the orders came out, and they gave Titus his McFlurry, and they gave Zoe her ice cream cone, and they gave me this, an ice cream cone stuck in a cup, and it was dripping all down the sides. And I looked at that, and I thought, surely that's not me, right? Order up for faith. No, that's not me. And so I said, what gives? And she said, oh, I'm sorry, our ice cream cone's not working very well. And I'm looking at my daughter eating her ice cream cone. And I said, well, actually, this isn't really okay because I can't drive and eat with a spoon. You know, I can lick and drive, I can't spoon and drive, and it just doesn't work. And she said, oh, okay. Hey, can you give this lady her money back? And I said, no, I don't want my money back. I just want an ice cream cone. And I was really trying to be nice about it, but you know, when you pay 49 cents for an ice cream cone, you want your ice cream cone. And they said, well, I'm sorry, this is all we can do for you. Can we help you with anything else? And I said, I want an ice cream cone. I did say that. And they said, well, this is all we can do for you. Do you want us to clean up the cup? And I said, just take it the way it is. And I walked out with my drippy cup. And I sat in the van, and I was like, can you believe this? You know, I'll take it drippy, but don't put it in the cup. You know, give me the cone. And I'm sitting there, and then it just hit me. Looking at the cone, and I said, really, Faith, this is your limit, huh? This is what it does. That's all it takes. And your day is ruined. This is it. Right here, Faith has met her match, an ice cream cone. And I said this out loud. My kids were in the back, you know, enjoying their cones. And I'm looking at that thing thinking, no, this is not going to be what it takes to put me in a bad mood. Now I'm snapping at my kid, shut up and eat your ice cream cone because I don't have one. No, that's not okay. And I gave myself a talking to. And you know what I did? I sat there in the parking lot for 2 minutes and ate my cone. And ate my cup of ice cream. But it really started something in me where I realized, what does it take for you to lose control of your spirit? Controlling your spirit. Have you ever had a drippy ice cream day? I believe we all have. The best drippy ice cream stories start this way. We were getting ready for church one morning, right? That best one, right? Remember my little, when Silas, he was in his high chair, he's all dressed for church. We all get dressed first, and then they eat breakfast, so we can eat breakfast in the car if we want to, you know, we're not running late. So he's sitting there, I give him his sippy cup, he takes the lid off and drinks it like this, you know, soaking his outfit. That's such a little story. But you know, sometimes just that little thing will cause the whole family to miss Sunday school. For this, he went to church in a wrinkled outfit. I didn't have time to iron, but we went to church. That wasn't going to ruin it. One morning before church, I grabbed the 36 chocolate chip cookies with Reese's chips inside that I had made the night before for my teen Sunday school class. And we were getting into the van, and I buckled up my baby, and we got in, and we're driving to church, and I heard just this crash. And all over Cherry Avenue were chocolate chip cookies with Reese's chips. You know what I did? I put the plate on top of the car, buckled in my baby, and took off. And I was like, I didn't make them for Cherry Avenue. I made them for my Sunday school class. So the next week, I made 36 more chocolate chip cookies with Reese's chips in them. And I almost did the exact same thing. I seriously did. But those kind of things, whoa, this day is just shot. No, it's going to take more than that to ruin our days. Let me tell you this story. Now, I've asked my children's permission to tell you this story because Zoe thinks it's hilarious. One day when she hears this when she's 13, she will not think it's hilarious, but right now I have her permission. So, we only had 2 children at the time. Now we have, how many do we have? 3? I think we have 3 now. So Titus was 3 and Zoe was about 9 months. And me and the 2 kids were flying to Louisiana to visit my grandparents. And we were going to big flight, layover, little flight to Louisiana. The way there went great. Nice trip. We're on our way home. Well, the last day where we were going to catch our flight, Zoe got some kind of stomach bug, and she was vomiting all day long. Well, about an hour before the flight, she hadn't done anything for an hour. Okay, we're good to go. We can handle this. It's fine. It's really just juice, you know. And so we got at the airport. Everything's fine. We got on just our little puddle jumper, you know, just our little hour flight, get to Houston, and then our big flight. We're on the flight. She's on my lap. Titus is over here. And all of a sudden, I feel warmth on my lap. Of course, I had to reach down to see what it was, and I came back with a pile. She was not vomiting anymore. Thankfully, she was over that. He had gone to the next stage, right? And I'm looking at this pile in my hand, and I grabbed Zoe, and we went to the restroom. Now, I have no excuse because I was not a first-time mom, but I didn't bring a change of clothes for her. Why didn't I do that? She'd been sick all day. Crazy. And so she went into the restroom with a cute little dress. She came out in a diaper and a bow. I threw away her dress. I tried to wash up the best I could, and we sat down, and I thought, this was our little puddle jumper flight. You know, what is this? You know, and I kind of laughed it off. I put Titus's jacket on her, zipped it up. It looked like this long dress. So we have our layover. I called my husband. Isn't that funny? Ha, ha, ha. Well, we get onto our big flight now. This is a 5-hour flight. It's late at night. So she's sleeping in my arms. Well, she had thrown up a couple times down my legs. I kind of felt like a human chamber pot, you know? But I could handle that. So she's sleeping. Titus is here. We have this lady in the aisle. Titus is playing on his iPad some games. And she is leaned over in his seat watching. For like an hour. Just leaned over, just watching his game. And I thought, well, I guess she didn't bring a book, so she can do that. That's fine. So Zoe was sleeping. And I felt warmth in my lap. And of course I had to reach down to see what it was. And it was piles on my lap. And so she's sleeping. I grab the diaper, grab the wipes. It's all dark. And I get into the aisle, and we're standing there waiting for the restroom. Everyone's staring at me because we stunk. And so the man came out of the restroom. I was about to go in, and the flight attendant said, "Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. You're going to have to sit down. I'm sorry about this." And I said, "And I'm sorry, too." And I walked in, and I closed the door. I'm sorry. And so I scrubbed myself up the best we could, and we come back in and sit down. Now the lady does not want to lean over and look at Titus. She's like way over here because we stunk. So we get off the flight, and it's about midnight. We get to LAX, taxi cabs everywhere. And so I get Zoe in the stroller. Titus is holding on. I've got a car seat around this arm. I got my suitcase, another car seat here, and the diaper bag. And we're walking toward the entrance right here, right? And then my husband texts me, "Can you come further down? I'm parked down the street." Okay. And we're just wiggling along. Past midnight, we all get in the car. My husband kisses me, and he's like, "Oh, it's so good to see you, honey." Then he puts the window down, and he said, "But you stink." And we did. I went home, just shaved everything, at my head, everything, scrubbed me. That is a drippy ice cream day. That's what it is. And you have to decide in those times, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I laughed because I went insane. I went out of my mind. That's what I did, okay? But I feel like days with the most pressure are the ones that are really testing us. Some pressureful days are holidays, Christmas, birthdays, maybe vacations. So much pressure on those days. Why? Because we've been looking forward to it all year. We don't do it very often. A lot of money goes into it, right? And it has to go perfect. Christmas must go perfect, right? Vacations must go perfect. But they don't. They do not. The smallest problem can get blown out of proportion, and someone's like, "For goodness sakes, it's Christmas. Can't we just get along?" That's what it is, right? Because there's so much pressure. What does it mean to control your spirit? I'm going to give you 3 thoughts. They're way too long to write down, but you can try. What does it mean to control your spirit? It means deciding that what is going on around you will not control your spirit for you. A lot of stuff that goes on around us, traffic, can put someone in a bad mood, right? Let me say 3 letters, PMS. That's going on around us and in us. Is that going to control our spirits? Politics. Sometimes if I'm watching too much stuff, I'm feeling fearful and worried. It can get me down. Bills. Weather. it's gray outside, so I'm gray inside. No. Global warming, whatever, you floats your boat, right? But those kind of things, deciding what goes around me is not going to control my spirit. 2, deciding that though others are living in the flesh and treating you wrongly, you will not live in the flesh and treat other people wrongly. So others may be living in the flesh. Maybe they are gossiping. Maybe they're giving you dirty looks. Maybe they're texting mean text messages. People do that. Maybe they're complaining about everything. Maybe they have a dirty diaper or something's warm on your lap. But you're deciding that all of these kind of things, this is not controlling my spirit for me. I decide who controls my spirit. I get to decide that. And then deciding to take a Drippy ice cream day and turn it around. That's what it means to control your spirit. Okay, this started off wrong, but it's not going to continue this way. Let's turn this around. Couple illustrations here. We have many traditions at Christmas time. One of my favorite ones is around Christmas time, we all get a Starbucks drink, which my kids never drink Starbucks. They're not spoiled little kids. But at Christmas time, they will all have a Starbucks, and we're going to walk down streets and look at Christmas lights. In California, you can do that, okay? And so we will do that, and it's my favorite tradition because the little kids can look at everything on the lawn. We do a scavenger hunt, a whole list of things we're looking for. We can never find reindeer on the roof. It's the hardest one. Try it. You will see. It's very hard. But we will do this. So 2 years ago, we were out, we had the baby, we had everything going on, we had Starbucks, and we started out, well, it was already darker, it was windy, a lot of those inflatables were falling down, but we're going to do this, Mommy's excited about it, I've been looking forward to this, my favorite tradition. Well, I was putting on Titus's jacket, I was zipping it up, and you know what I did? I was in too much of a hurry, and when I zipped his neck. Was not funny then, it's funny now. But he's not in pain anymore, okay? So it's a whole thing. So I zipped him up. Well, because he was in pain, he lashed out at me. And because he lashed out at me, I lashed out at him. We had a little lash fight right there on the street. And then I started crying because it was ruined. The night was ruined, right? It was just ruined. How can you recover from that? That's way too big. You can't recover from that. And so I'm crying. And I went to my husband. I said, Eli, help me save this evening. He said, okay, you go stand over there. He's making sure the kids are okay. How's your neck, Titus? And so I'm over here. Okay. Thinking back, it's funny. So I'm over here and I'm praying, God, this is disappointing to me. Please help me. And I'm praying. And then I go back. Children, Mommy's very sorry for zipping your neck and for yelling at you. Okay, you got to get past that one. Okay. And Mommy's very sorry, and we're going to have a good night tonight. We're going to look at those Christmas trees, the lights. We're going to find the Grinch. We're going to do this. Okay, and so we saved it. And I felt like inside, victory. We did this. I struggle with this, and it happened. We controlled it. That's what I'm talking about, is taking these kind of things that normally it would just ruin your whole day and changing it. Every single day of our life, we must work at controlling our spirit. We don't get a day off. There is no day off. It doesn't matter how busy the day off, you don't get a day off. It may be easier on Sunday in God's house, but I still have to control it on Monday in my house. Every single day. Some days are harder than others. In the cities in the Bible, they would do all this work to build a nice wall. And I wonder if they ever locked the gates. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did. They put up guards. They were vigilant. No one said, tonight, let's leave the gates open, get a nice breeze in here. No. They were always on guard. We certainly don't do that in Long Beach. Let's just leave the door open tonight, get a nice breeze. No, we don't do that. We lock up. We are vigilant about that. We must be the same with our spirit. Controlling our spirit is every single day. I was cranky one day. You could just pick a day of the month. That's probably the day I was cranky. And I was a little cranky, and I told my husband, sarcastically, just being funny, I said, well, I am on my PMS, and so anything I say doesn't count today. And I was just kidding. I was just teasing. And he said, oh, is that what you teach your teen girls Sunday school class? And I don't backpedal. I said, Yes, that's exactly what I teach my teen girls Sunday school class. 14 days out of the month, do whatever you want, say whatever you want, you're not responsible. And I said, no, I'm just kidding. That's not true. No, we think that way sometimes though, don't we? I have a good excuse to be this way. I will tell you, I can always find a reason to eat a piece of pie. Well, I've been really good on my diet, so I deserve that pie. Or, I'm not even on a diet, so I deserve that pie. Or, well, I'm about to start PMS, so I deserve that pie. Well, I just came out of PMS. I can find it, right? And that's how we are sometimes with our spirit. We'll find some reason why it was perfectly fine to say that comment or to ignore that person. But we don't get a day off. My husband and I don't have family living in the area, so we use some people as babysitters at times. But a lot of times we don't get a weekly date night. Something we need to work on, but we don't always do it. So on Thursday evenings, we started saying when the kids go to bed at 8 o'clock sharp, I cannot wait, 8 o'clock sharp, they go to bed, we're going to have the whole evening to ourselves. So on Thursday evenings, we'll often get like a special treat, and we'll put up twinkle lights and pillows and blankets, and we'll have a special date night at home. Well, me being home all day with the kids, you know I'm looking forward to that time, right? Not that he's not looking forward to it, but I needed that time. Excuse me. So he knew it was this Thursday. He knew I had bought little pecan pie slices. They're in the freezer just for us. He knew this. He knew this. So I had been very careful to keep those kids on the schedule. We're going to bed at 8. Okay, good night, love you, can't wait to see you, but stay in bed. Put them to bed. Okay, honey, I'll be out in a little bit. And so I came out, I sat on the couch, and what's he doing? He's watching sports. And I thought, well, he's just going to finish this up because he does care, right? He does care. So I was sitting there. Well, he did. He finished it right up and started the next one. And I'm sitting there on the couch thinking more and more that he does not care. He does not care. Or then it hit me, he forgot. Which means he doesn't care. And I was sitting there stewing, 45 minutes. And am I going to remind him? No. Because if he cared, he would have remembered. This is just a fact. And if he cared, he would know that. No, just kidding. So I'm sitting there just stewing. And so he finishes up, and then he looks over, he's like, oh, honey, aren't we having date night tonight? Like, are you ready? And I could have said, yes, we are, let's go. But I said, doesn't look like it anymore. Well, why? I thought you were excited about it. I was excited about it. I came out here, I sat here excited about it. And we had this little discussion. And my poor husband, I had in my mind when I walked out, he was going to have everything set up. I didn't tell him that, but he should know me if he cares. So he's looking at me, and we're having this whole thing, and I would not budge. I did not want to budge. And I thought, this date night is ruined. Maybe we'll try again next week. That's how I felt. I really did. Sometimes this is what happens. We want to hold on to it. Because, I don't want to let it go. And now he wins. No, our marriage wins if I let it go, right? But we don't want to. We just want to hold on to it. And we'll probably talk about that tomorrow night. But I was sitting there, and finally, my husband, as his wit's end, he said, I wish we could just start this evening over again. And I said, Faith, what are you going to do here? What are you going to do? And I said, okay, we're going to start this evening over again. I'll be right back. So went to the room, got myself under control, came back. The whole room was set up. He had a fireplace on the TV. We don't have a fireplace with this fire going, and had lights and pillows and blankets. And, he had it all set up. And I came out and I said, honey, you remember date night? And he looked at me like I was crazy. I would not mention it. We were starting over again. We're not mentioning it until a couple days later we talked it all out. We had a date night. That was it. We got to have those turning points, ladies. What are we going to do right now? I'm going to give in. I'm going to humble myself. This is for the good of our family. This is for the good of our marriage. We got to recover it. We've got to control our spirit. It needs to hit us. The Drippy ice cream days are the ones where we are being tested, It's not too hard to keep a great spirit at ladies' conference. It's not that hard. What's hard is when the stress is coming on us and all the kids are talking at the same time and everybody wants a piece of me. That is when it's hard, but that is when, to me, that's when it counts. That's when it counts. When we are being tested. There are days that tells us where we are at spiritually and show us where we need to improve. That's what those drippy ice cream days are. Job 23:10, he said, when he hath tried me, tested me, I shall come forth as gold. If nothing wrong happened in Job's life, we would not talk about him very much at all. Hey, there was a rich guy one day. He had all these kids. That's nice. No, we're talking about him because he was tested and he came forth as gold. That is why he is our hero. Let me just tell you right now, Sandra, we talked about this. I am very good at messing up and repairing the situation. One day I will get good at not messing up, but I am not there yet. This is where I am. I mess up and I'm going to work really hard to repair the situation. I want to get better one day, but this is where I am. This is what I'm working at. Quick little points here. How to handle drippy ice cream days. Number 1, humility. When you mess up, you fess up and make it right, either with God or with the person you just blasted. I don't know where we get the idea. We can just do and say whatever we want to with no consequences. If we mess up, it hurts to humble yourself, but you deserve it. You messed up. Fess up. Humility. That's how you handle them. Number 2, how do you handle drippy ice cream days? Again and again. You handle them again and again. You get back up. You had a rough morning. You're going to make it a good day. Okay, this vacation was off to a rocky start. You recover it. You handle it again and again. And number 3, how to handle a drippy ice cream day with perspective. This is ice cream. That is all it is. It is just ice cream. We're not talking about major trials here. We're talking about ice cream. You've got to take a step back and say, is this what I'm going to let control my spirit? And ask yourself, is this really what is going to do? And have some perspective here. Maybe you're stressed. Maybe you're hungry. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you don't have good health. And so this is a big deal. But it still is just ice cream. So have some perspective. Is that what I'm going to let control my spirit? Let me ask you, what do your days normally look like? Does your spirit run down the street like an out-of-control dog? What does it take to ruin your day? Let's start living our Christian lives spirit-controlled. Not controlled by everything going around us. Not controlled by other people living in their flesh. But spirit-controlled. Let's have a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for the truth of